from the Little Gardening Show. Wanted to take you along, kind of give you an update on the lettuce, kind of what we're going to be doing at this point with it. And so let's get started. Alright, so here it is. It's been about 5.5 weeks. They're growing pretty well, starting to develop little heads on that. Multiple layers of lettuce are starting to come together, especially in the middle here. The big challenge though is I've got these planted a little too close. Really, I probably would have, if I wanted them to develop full heads, I should have thinned this out a little bit more and taken out about half the lettuces. I think I've got about 90 in each box. I should have done like 45 and given them a little bit more space, about 6 inches apart instead of about 3 inches. And then I think we would have seen these develop more into heads, whereas right now they're a little crowded, which is okay. I can harvest it like this, kind of a cut and come again method. I was going to be taking these boxes out to the greenhouse, but in talking with Dad and with the lettuce being as far along as they were, decided to keep them here at the house because we're going to be harvesting them probably within the next week or so. We're going to start cutting lettuce, and enjoying it here rather than having it out the greenhouse and then having to traipse back and forth, to get any kind of lettuce on it, and just all of that. It's just easier to keep them here and continue to harvest. One thing that I'm interested in would be the nutrient content, relative to growing something, in a soil-based setting or outdoors. I've been feeding these plants using the Mittleider gardening method, preparing these boxes pretty similar to how you would prep the ground, as far as adding a little bit of a lime and then, applying the weekly feed, except they call it constant feed because it's a kind of a little diluted version since these were more or less seedlings initially. So it'd be interesting to see the mineral content, and I think there are 2 ways of testing that. One would be to get like a Brix tester, which I'm not sure how much those run. I think they're fairly expensive to get a Brix tester, and what that is it's a device that measures the sugars in like the produce that you're eating or whatnot, because sugars are an indication of minerals. Minerals are what give food flavor. In terms of like, you eat a tomato out in the field that you've grown compared to a store-bought tomato in the middle of winter, there's a marked difference, right? Because what you're growing out in the fields fresh, you're harvesting it right. It's when it's big and yellow or red or whatever color tomato you're growing, but you're picking it typically right when it's at its peak ripeness, whereas the store-bought are harvested when they're still green and hard, and then they use different chemicals and stuff like that to try to accelerate them to ripen, and they just don't. It's just not natural, and they don't have the opportunity to take up the minerals. And a lot of times they're grown in kind of deficient soils where maybe they're giving them the major minerals, but not all the trace minerals and stuff that give it flavor. So anyway, it'd be kind of interesting to get a little Brix tester and just see. Now, the other thing I can do, and it's just totally like not scientific or anything like that, and it's just going off personal bias or whatever, would be just to pick a sprig of lettuce and taste it. Does it taste good? If it tastes good, then there's a chance, there's some minerals in there, right? So, which I have picked a couple sprigs. Actually, let's go ahead and pick a sprig now. So, this looks pretty good. So I got my little sprig of lettuce here. Let's try that out. That's pretty good. Let's try another one. got pretty good flavor. It's nice and tender. It's not bitter at all. Interesting. Well, we'll see how things go. As far as harvesting this lettuce, I think we're going to do probably the cut and come again method. Again, because of spacing, instead of being 6 inches apart where they could really develop heads, it's only about 3 inches apart, so they're kind of crowded and growing and filling up the box. Now, I think one thing with these boxes here that they're going to do really well growing like leafy greens, maybe radishes, could do onions in them. Anything that has kind of a smaller root mass, maybe just a little more compact, is going to do well, I think, in these boxes. You know, using kind of Mittleider gardening method, or just making sure that there's minerals available for them to grow. What I wouldn't try in these, just personally, would be like indeterminate tomatoes, peppers, things that are going to require a lot more space. They're going to take up a lot more nutrients, or just require a whole lot more because they're fruiting vegetables. They take up a lot. You know, and having grown tomatoes and peppers like that, I mean, they get massive and their roots go all over the place. In these boxes, they'd be somewhat confined, even though there's pretty good space. I mean, this is like a 24 by like 20 inch box, and it's about a foot deep. You know, so there's plenty of space to grow a lot of different things. But I would focus more on like the leafy greens and small radishes and things like that are going to be pretty easy. They're going to be pretty fast. They're not going to be, you know, these vegetables that take 80 to 100 days to grow, right? So anyway, that's where we're at right now. A little under the weather right now. My son brought home something and kind of passed it around. It didn't go into like full-blown bronchitis, which is good, but just some congestion and stuff. I've been taking this like Winter Care. It's like a herbal supplement. It's just nasty. You put like 30 drops in a glass of water, and water tastes like you're drinking like liquid dirt or like stump water. It's nasty stuff. I know it's good for me though. It's like I can feel it working. It seems like it's limited the impact of this kind of cold congestion and things like that. It is March 2nd, so we will be hopefully starting some seedlings pretty soon. Our cold weather stuff, cabbage, kale, broccoli, kohlrabi, things that can stand a little bit of a frost, cooler temperatures. So we get that stuff going probably about in the next 2 weeks. The way the weather's been going, the way the seasons are here, it's difficult to get out and do anything without any kind of cover or protection until about mid-April. I've got my onion sets that are time to come at that time from Dixondale Farms. So we got a lot that's going to be happening probably within the next month, a couple weeks. Try to make some videos, take you guys along as we start another season, preparing the garden, getting things going, and it should be a lot of fun. Always enjoy the startup and watching things grow and cultivating things. So I hear some kids upstairs. They must be awake now, so probably need to get going, make some breakfast for them. So I guess that's it for now. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.